Mics are on.
The City Council LRA Board for the City of Riverbank is now in session. Today is Tuesday, April 27th, 2021. This meeting will be held in accordance with the Governor Executive Order N29-20 issued on March 17th, 2020, regarding the open meeting requirements of the Ralph M. Brown Act and the Federal Americans with Disability Act in an effort to help avoid the spread of COVID-19, to maximize transparency, and to provide public access to City Council meetings. If you will, place your hand over your heart, and I will say the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilor Authority Member District 2, Rachel Hernandez.
Here.
Council Authority Member District 3, Cal Campbell.
Here.
Council Authority Member District 4, Darlene Barbara Martinez.
Here.
Vice Mayor Chair Luis Uribe.
Here.
Mayor Chair Richard D. O'Brien.
Here. There are no intended agenda changes for tonight. If there's any council or authority member or staff that has a direct conflict of interest on any scheduled agenda items to be considered, is to declare their conflict at this time. Seeing none, we'll go on to public comments. If the public would like to join us to make any comments now or on any business item that we are about to consider, please refer to the last page of the agenda for the comment procedures. At this time, members of the public may comment on any item not appearing on the agenda within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council LRA Board. Individual comments will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Under state laws, matters presented during the public comment period cannot be discussed or acted upon. Annabelle, are there any public comments?
Mayor, there is no one wishing to speak at this moment, and there were no written comments received for this item.
All right, thank you very much. Going on to item 7.1, introduction of new Recreation Supervisor Tony Lemmons.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Council. We're very excited to introduce Tony. Anthony Lemmons is our new Recreation Supervisor, and he comes to us with quite a bit of experience, and Sue has been having a good time getting him up to speed, so I'll turn it over to Sue, who's going to introduce him.
Mayor, members of the council, I am happy to introduce Tony Lemmons to you tonight. And he is originally from Laguna Hills, California. He graduated from Cal State University Long Beach with a degree in recreation leisure studies. And he minored in Spanish, which is real good for our department. That's going to be real nice. And also, he's already jumped in. We're really excited that we finally get to start doing some more programs, and he's working on our publicity because we really needed to get our publicity up. He's updating our website, meeting the staff, already well into planning day camps. So we're just really happy to welcome him as part of our team. I think he's going to be a real asset to the city. And I think he probably wants to say hello to you. I know he's here. Anthony?
Good evening, City Council, Mayor. It's a pleasure being here in the city of Riverbank. It's a really exciting opportunity. I'm glad that I was chosen as a candidate to work here as the Recreation Supervisor. And I look forward to meeting you guys all. I've already met the mayor. I look forward to meeting the rest of you and doing good work here in the city of Riverbank.
Well, Tony, on behalf of the council, I want to thank you for being here, and we welcome you into our community. Anybody wishing to say anything to Tony?
Bienvenidos a la ciudad, Tony.
Muchísimas gracias.
Yeah, whatever you guys said, but okay. Hi, Tony, I'm Darlene. I will talk to you tomorrow at our Zoom meeting for our event that we're planning. Thanks.
Yes, the bike ride. Thank you.
So I guess it would not be appropriate if I said Genki Deska.
What was that?
Never mind. All right, moving on. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to item 7.2, Economic Impact Report on Circulus Inc., created by Opportunity Stanislaus.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I am going to be April. Do you want to do the PowerPoint, or do you want me to run it? You do the talking.
If you can drive, that would be fantastic.
Sure, I'll drive. So as council's well aware, but if there are new community members on the line, I'll just give a quick overview. We were successful with the help of Carrie Pope and Mike Riddell and really the mayor and council in extracting Circulus, which is a recycling manufacturer that has invested a significant amount of money in the Riverbank industrial complex and has taken up a significant portion of one of the superstructures to run an operation that essentially takes plastics and melts them down and cleans them, and at the end of the day they create little resin pellets of plastic that they then sell back to various manufacturers to use in their products. So it's a sustainable business. This is the first plant of this company of at least 4 planned currently throughout the United States. We're going to be doing a number of tours, both for the city council members, staff, and also just interested members of the community that would like to go out and take a look at it. We're very proud of the business. Probably the single most important tenant we've ever attracted out there, and so there's some jobs, quite a few jobs and investment that Opportunity Stanislaus has been assisting as well. And so April, with Opportunity Stanislaus, has put together an economic impact analysis to give the council and community an idea about what a business of this size contributes directly and indirectly to our economy. And so I'm going to share my screen and turn it over to the expert.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for that kind introduction. And first of all, thank you all for having me on the call. I'm really honored to be here. Congratulations, Tony, on your new position. And I just wanted to say congratulations to you as a city for being able to attract this level of a project is absolutely amazing, and really for creating space in the industrial park that is really becoming a hub and a beacon really for this type of cluster. And so we've been seeing actually a lot of movement around these types of projects, and we're getting a lot more requests for information on sites and locations in Stanislaus County. And I would definitely say that has a huge part to do with you guys and what you're doing out there with Ametis and Circulus and just the movement around that. So congratulations. So what I'll do, I'll just kind of briefly, I'm going to try to make this quick so it doesn't inundate you with a lot of data, but we're just going to go over the kind of high level impact, the economic impact that was made. And then if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. So first of all, I'm the Director of Market Research for Opportunity Stanislaus. And so a lot of what I do is research around economics, industry, occupational research, et cetera. And the economic impact study is probably one of the most valuable tools because we really are showing the value that a business brings to our community as a whole in Stanislaus County. And so we use IMPLAN, which is a nationally recognized economic impact tool. And this is used by government, by higher education, and really has the most comprehensive data sets and social accounting matrices that are involved in it. So it's when we're using this tool, just please know that it is really highly ranked and it's doing a great job. So what this study kind of analyzes, and I'm going to try to touch briefly without boring you too bad, these direct effects that happen because of the actual investment and the expenditure by Circulus, for example. So we'll talk about the capital renovations. So the direct impact of the actual renovations that happen, who they employ, how much money is going into that. But in addition to that are these indirect effects, which are the industry to industry purchases that happen. So for example, they're going to need truck and trailer transportation. So that will then impact another industry. And then that person then, or those industries then need to hire more people. And so there's that kind of indirect effect that happens. And then an induced effect happens when really the labor income of the people who get employed then spend their money within the community. So how many times that dollar turns over. So after these people become employed, you know, where are they spending their money? They're going to likely purchase a home or go to the hospital, spend their money at Starbucks, those kinds of things. And so those are the induced effects. So we'll talk about the kind of compact, holistic impact of all that together and separately as well. So these are represented and reported by output, which is the total value of the industry productions. Labor income, of course, employee compensation, and proprietor income. So a lot of the construction workers are sole proprietors. So this is wages, salary, benefits, etc. And then the employment is captured as both full and part-time jobs. So even though we'll look at the number, that doesn't necessarily equate to that many full-time employees. It's both full and part-time combined on an average of monthly jobs. So overall, the total Circulus investment with their capital investment and renovations to their area that they're going to be taking inside the Riverbank Industrial Complex, then including in that the employment and payroll ongoing annual investment of 3.5 million, their capital investment renovations, they're estimating at 29 million. And then they're estimating 50 employees total. And so there is a 32,500,000 impact in that. So the initial impact of just the capital renovations, so just the part where they're saying, okay, we're going to come in, we're going to take stuff down to create new sites. It's estimated with the multiplier effect to be a total of 206 workers. So again, these aren't going to be lasting jobs. These are really just for that time period where they're doing the renovations. But that will equate to about 12.3 million in labor income, 20.9 million in total value add, which is again kind of how that money gets spent throughout the county. And then with a total initial output of $41,788,467. So I know that seems like a really large number, but again, it's the direct, the indirect, and the induced combined. And then for just the annual ongoing operations, so now we've set aside their capital renovations and they're just going to keep this going on an annual basis. Of the 50 newly created jobs within this type of industry, and then also this industry's output to other industries, we're looking at 154 workers to employment. So that, as you can see, is an additional 104 employees who are going to become employed because of this project. An additional $9 million in labor income, 19 million in total value add, and a total ongoing output of $113,649,845. And again, we can assume that most of that will stay, of course, in Stanislaus County. Some of that does trickle out depending on where people spend their money or where they live and things like that. But we're counting on most of that to stay local. And so again, just with the total combined of those two, we're looking at really an amazing impact of $155,438,311 that Circulus will be bringing into Stanislaus County as a whole. And then I just wanted to point out that specific to Riverbank specifically, not just Stanislaus County, but just the tax impacts at the sub-county level. So we're looking at $486,000 and then another $641,884 that would be coming just into the district, into Riverbank itself. And so that is a little over $1 million in tax impact and revenue, which is fantastic. So we're really excited about the project, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have. Yeah.
Thank you. Good report. Is there any council member wishing to ask April any questions?
Vice Mayor Uribe here. No questions, just a quick comment. I just great presentation, April. Thank you for emailing me back on some questions that I had over the weekend. I just hope we continue to attract industries just like this and continue to go down this path. I think it's just amazing to see over $1 million in just tax input coming our way. And I think your slide says highlight, but I don't think it's really at least not hit me how important a business like this is going to attract other ones, and it's going to just continue to grow in that way. So thank you for everything you've done and put together.
Absolutely, and I couldn't say it better myself. And the fact that you guys are attracting this, and it really it's creating a buzz, because amongst their industry, we can already tell that we're getting more interest. And so that means, how much more space do you guys have out there? I don't know, but hopefully we can attract other businesses or part of their supply chain even to that same area, and then really create that hub. And with the sustainability and green process that's coming, down the administration currently and into the future, I think it's going to keep on going up with projects like this. So it's exciting for sure.
And for the council, for all of your work that we've done, you all have done since 2014 when we did the specific plan. We had our project going forward, doing more along the lines of being green, especially with Hetch Hetchy being a renewable resource. I think not only do we attract Circulus, but we also chose Metis. When they get up and running, there'll be a much greater impact. And as those continue to expand, as the Vice Mayor said, we will be attracting many more similar type of projects. And I believe that with the net carbon being below zero or at zero, that we will be falling right in line with the federal and state desires on carbon output. But Councilmember Barbara Martinez, you're unmuted, so you want to say something.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Thanks for the presentation. So I know that folks are probably as anxious as I am to know about if they would like to apply for these jobs. Are they going through Opportunity Stanislaus, or are they going through our, local workforce development? So can you give us some information about that?
That is a great question. And so we have actually extended our assistance for our HR assistance for them. They have not yet taken us up on that, only because I think when we spoke to the CEO last time, he said it was still kind of in the works. And so we should be working in really close contact with them, and then getting them up and running with a lot of the on-the-job training programs or other incentive programs to help them fill those positions, which will be definitely very exciting. And so as soon as that comes out, I'll make sure that gets out to you guys. So your local residents, which by the way, I am a current resident of Riverbank, newly installed, and I'm excited to be there. So but to get our residents there employed, and how nice would it be just to be right there around the corner, so we will make sure to pass that information along to you as soon as they start hiring.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
And the CEO did state that he'll give Riverbank residents priority first, but he does have specific requirements, and he does expand it to the local region. That's the East Side, Modesto, to try to keep the commute down and keep the money as local as possible. Again, April, thank you very much. Any other comments? With that, we're going to move forward to the consent calendar, consisting of 8.1 waive readings, 8.2 approval of March 23rd, 2021 City Council and the Local Redevelopment Authority Board minutes. Item 8.3 approval of April 13th, 2021 City Council and Local Redevelopment Authority Board minutes. Item 8.4 resolution authorizing the examination of sales and use tax records. Items 8.5 resolution authorizing the execution of a performance agreement between the City of Riverbank and Simply Divine Events LLC for the coordination of the 2021 Cheese and Wine Festival. Items 8.6, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Simply Divine Events LLC for the lease of the city's public property associated with the Riverbank Cheese and Wine Festival. Item 8.7, a resolution authorizing the extension of the Abandoned Vehicle Abatement AVA program. Is there anyone wishing to pull an item or comment? Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar items as presented?
Vice Mayor Uribe here. I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez, I second.
We have a motion by the Vice Mayor Uribe and a second by Councilmember Barbara Martinez. Roll call, please.
Council Authority members Barbara Martinez,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chair Uribe,
Yes.
Mayor Chair O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 9.1, unfinished business. Second reading by title only and adoption of proposed ordinance number 2021-001 of the City Council of the City of Riverbank, California, approving a development agreement amendment by and between the City of Riverbank and EJ Distribution LLC, currently doing business as Canna+Rise, to add a second cannabis business, a California limited liability corporation doing business as Terminal Infusion.
Mayor, Donna Kenny is on vacation effective tonight, and so I'm going to be handling this report for her. As Council may recall, Council voted to move forward with the first reading at the last regularly scheduled Council meeting. This is a project that adds an additional license type to an existing operator that we have at 5729 Terminal Avenue, Canna+Rise. And they will be doing infusion of cannabis products at that location, different types of edibles and drinks. This allows them to start a second business and expand their current business. I think I mentioned last time they've been an excellent cannabis business here in Riverbank. We've had literally zero issues. They're very easy to work with. They follow all procedures, are generally timely on their public benefit payments, and have just been an excellent partner to us. So we're recommending approval. You may have noticed in your staff report the development agreement with the amended the amendments to their permit are located in your staff report and are red lines, so you can see what the changes are made. They're essentially term, public benefit arrangement, and the name of the business and license type. And so that's been included, and be happy to answer any questions regarding any of those details if you'd like to go over them again.
Are there any questions of the city manager?
Councilmember Barbara Martinez, can you please just reiterate for the public and those that have not heard this item before, that this is not a retail place and that it is strictly, wholesale, so they understand?
Correct. Yes, Councilmember Barbara Martinez, you're correct that it's strictly wholesale distribution and manufacturing. There is no retail operation at this location. There will be no retail operation at this location. It's not zoned for that, and that's not their plan anyway. So it's just the industrial and distribution.
Any other questions? Annabelle, are there any public comments?
Mayor, there is no one wishing to speak, and there were no written comments received on this item.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance as presented?
Councilmember Barbara Martinez, I make a motion we approve item 9.1.
Councilmember Cal Campbell, I second the motion.
We have a motion by Councilmember Barbara Martinez and second by Councilmember Campbell on item 9.1. Roll call, please.
Council members Barbara Martinez,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Uribe,
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Public hearings, item 10.1, a resolution authorizing use of the bond opportunities for land development bold program and authorizing the California Municipal Finance Authority to accept applications from property owners, conduct proceedings, and levy special taxes within the territory of the city of Riverbank pursuant to Melrose Community Facilities Act of 1982 as amended and authorizing related actions.
Thank you very much, Mayor. This item is going to be presented by Maricela this evening, but before I pass it on to her, I'll just explain very quickly that one of the reasons we're bringing this forward was this was an optional financing method that we discussed kind of at length during the Crossroads West Development Agreement negotiations as an additional tool in the tool belt for financing public infrastructure. And so it's a little different than what we've done in the past, but many cities are using this program now, and there's some advantages to it. So I'm going to have Maricela step you through that info.
Share my screen with you here. So good evening, Mayor and council members. So tonight we are presenting to you a request to participate in the BOLD program. As described in the description of the staff report, BOLD does stand for Bond Opportunities for Land Development. And so that is in essence the type of items that we will be financing. So land development, not necessarily housing, but mostly infrastructure in this particular case. So a few of the details of the BOLD program: the California Municipal Finance Authority is a JPA that we will be joining if approved tonight. And it's formed by numerous other cities, counties, and special districts. The bonds are issued by a CFD, and this CFD is formed by this JPA under the Melrose Community Facilities Act of 1982. You're familiar with CFDs that currently exist within the city of Riverbank. Those are maintenance CFDs that we have, and they cover the maintenance of streets, street lights, landscaping. Our newest CFD also covers storm and will also cover parks. So this particular CFD, which will also be an assessment to property owners, will be for infrastructure. So it will be for water lines, sewer lines, street lines, etc. It finances the construction of this infrastructure and other public facilities that we may have. Now, the benefit of this program to the city of Riverbank is that CMFA or the JPA takes over 100% of the administration of these bonds. They are in charge of creating and administrating the CFD that's created. So that relieves the city from having to do annual assessments to property owners. And they are also in charge of all of the work that's included with a bond issuance. They have their bond counsel that does work. They have their own underwriters that go out and market the bonds to make sure that those are sold. And so the city's involvement is very limited and can be as extensive as we want it to be. It can be limited in that we can be very hands-off and allow them to do their work, or we can be involved in all of the details so that we make sure that we are as informed as possible for our residents. The CMFA, when it comes time to administration of and creation of the CFD, along with the bond issuance, will work directly with the developers to finance their infrastructures. They'll go out, work with the developer for an engineering estimate. They will create a financing option for them. They will go out and issue bonds. Then they'll hold those funds in reserve until such time that the city actually will give a thumbs up to be able to release the funds on the work that's being done. So the city will still need to approve the work that's being done, as well as do all of the necessary inspections. And once those are approved, then they'll release funds for payment for that infrastructure. So in essence, tonight we're only tasked with authorizing the city to join CMFA. And then in the future, when bonds are going to be issued, if this is an option that the developer decides to take, then we would authorize the CFD to acquire those public facilities on our behalf. Ultimately, those public facilities will become the city's property. So in discussions with the developers at Crossroads West, they've sort of gave us this listing of infrastructure items that they foresee that they may be able to take advantage of this financing for. They've prioritized it, so this is prioritized, so they would be looking mainly at financing parks, perhaps storm drains, and streets and roads. And that is the end of my presentation tonight, but I'm available for any questions you may have.
Are there any council members' questions or comments?
Councilmember Campbell has a question. What's the length of time that this is going to exist? How long does it go on? Can you kind of explain the time span on me?
So a infrastructure CFD normally lives as long as it needs to live to pay back bonds. So our participation in the JPA will exist as long as the city council doesn't recant that. But when the JPA goes to issue bonds and a CFD is created within the city of Riverbank, that CFD will only exist, for example, for 30 years if it's a 30-year bond. If it's a 15-year bond, then it will only exist for 15 years.
Thank you, Maricela.
Any other comments?
Vice Mayor Uribe here. So a couple things I like about the BOLT program here is, well, one of the projects I kind of honed in on too is it's something we're going to be kind of working towards, and it happens to be tax exempt, is the water treatment projects. And comparing it to other similar programs like the statewide community infrastructure program, this one seems to be a little bit more flexible because you can form it in advance. It's generally more cost effective. So I think having more good options for developers to me is a good thing. Maricela, you mentioned there was no annual assessment, so that to me just means less money out of pocket. And then you mentioned also that the city has the ability to approve the release of funds. So if the project's not making sense, we can kind of at what point we just kind of stop it at that point. Maricela, is that correct?
So basically what will happen is that they will issue bonds for the construction of, let's say, a park. If that park is not being constructed to our standards, which it will be because we've already gone through that process with the developers to begin with, to develop those engineering plans to our specifications, then we have the ability to let CMFA know that the funds can't be released until such time that they remediate whatever item is not to our satisfaction. Okay. So our inspector will still need to be fully involved to make sure that these items are getting constructed per city standards. Now, okay. I do want to make a clarification on the assessments. There's no assessment on the city itself, but there is on the property owners.
Got it.
So the city sort of removes itself from having to be that intermediary.
Thank you, Maricela. No further questions here.
Thank you. All right. I open the public for public comment. Annabelle, are there any public comments on this item?
Mayor, there is no one wishing to speak, and we did not receive any written comments for this item.
Okay, well then I'm going to close public hearing. Are there any further council comments, questions? Is there a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
Vice Mayor Uribe here. I'll make a motion to approve item 10.1.
Councilmember Hernandez, I second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve item 10.1 as presented by Vice Mayor Uribe and a second by Councilmember Hernandez. Roll call, please.
Council members Barbara Martinez,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Uribe,
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Item 11.1, a resolution authorizing fee waivers and certain insurance requirements for the Downtown Farmers Market event as proposed by the Riverbank Downtown Business Co. Group.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Give me one moment here, Mike. Well, my computer is locking up on me. Just for those who don't know, the Downtown BizCo Group well, they're technically, I guess, they're an informal group of downtown businesses that have gotten together, and they've done a couple of events over the last couple of years. They have become actually really good partners to the city and given us feedback on things that they think are good or bad, helping us with little projects in the downtown, and really serve as a good resource for downtown residents and business for advocacy. More recently, one of the things that's been discussed is the possibility of moving forward with a farmers market in the downtown for a couple reasons. One is that we are one of the few communities that doesn't have a regular farmers market currently. We have in the past. And the other reason is that these kinds of markets have the potential to bring more attention to the downtown area, which, as we come out of COVID, there are a couple of new businesses on Santa Fe that are opening. A lot of our businesses that have been partially closed or fully closed are now reopening. And so I think that there's a desire to sort of jumpstart that with a farmer's market. A couple of members of the Downtown BizCo have been sort of leading that effort, and I think they're actually on the Zoom tonight, so they'll probably have some words for you. But their concept is essentially this. They'd like to do a weekly farmer's market on Santa Fe between 3rd and 4th Street. Ideally, right now, looks like the time frames are going to be in the 5 to 8 p.m. range. And they're hoping to run that through basically the middle of May through September. And I think that'll kind of just depend on continuing interest and how successful it is. But they originally brought this concept up to the vice mayor. I sat in a couple meetings, just sort of sharing what little information I had about, permitting. And since then, the group has really taken the idea and ran with it. They seem to have commitments from a variety of different vendors, and the event's really starting to take shape and includes most of the businesses that are part of that group, which is in that downtown core area of Santa Fe. They are they're basically asking for city co-sponsorship and assistance in 2 key areas, which are things that the city has done previously for example, their Sip and Stroll event. The first is a fee waiver request for what we would commonly charge for events that use public right-of-way or our streets that require closures. And usually those fees are associated with some of the street blocking and other kind of minimal staff time that we need to put in to help coordinate the event. We are going to work with the Downtown BizCo if council authorizes the fee waivers to sort of minimize that involvement as much as possible. Since this will be a regular, weekly event, we think we can probably work with the event organizers to sort of minimize that additional staff time that we might need to put into it. And then the other key component, which is a little more complicated, is insurance requirements. So The city, for any event of any kind, we typically require liability coverage for the use of public property for obvious reasons. The problem is a little bit problematic in this case because the Downtown BizCo isn't at this point a 501c3 nonprofit or other entity that would normally carry a policy like that. And so it's a little difficult to request that because this is sort of a group effort amongst many businesses, and given that there will be some spillover public benefit to having a weekly farmers market for the community, it's reasonable that the city could waive that requirement directly for the Downtown BizCo, while at the same time requiring that vendors individual vendors that attend the event have to provide proof of liability insurance and name the city as additionally insured under their policies, which is super common. In fact, I talked to Councilmember Barbara Martinez about this a bunch because when she ran the farmers market, that was a standard requirement that didn't seem overly burdensome for vendors. So we're going to verify with our risk management about what level of involvement the city has to make sure that our blanket coverage would sort of cover anything that wasn't covered by those individual policies. But in general, we feel fairly comfortable that the event can be appropriately insured. Also, I'm mentioning this, although I'm hoping that I could be wrong, although I don't think I am at this point, but at this stage, there's no alcohol sales that are proposed or anything like that. So I've talked to the chief about it. He has no safety related concerns, which would, elevate any kind of liability issues we might have. So from a financial perspective, the impact is really, it's not nominal because we're talking about a weekly event, but in general, if we were minimizing sort of our involvement and really allowing the Downtown BizCo to take this idea and run with it, manage it on their own, for just a normal event, you'd typically be charged like a $300 deposit. We usually will deduct from that deposit fees that, are either per hour, an hourly rate for part-time staff that have to be at the event, and then a little application processing fee. And so it's not significant from a revenue perspective, and it may be that council can discuss, depending on how successful the event is, if there's any kind of minor subsidy that you'd like to contribute when we get into budget discussions for any impact it does have to parks. The only other thing that hasn't been worked out that we are is bathrooms and trash. So we're working out those details with the event organizers, but so far they've been very flexible in trying to find a solution so that we can sort of help the event get off the ground. And if it becomes very successful, then obviously they may get to a point where they're charging vendor fees and they can afford to pay for some additional services. So that's pretty much all I have to add to it. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. And I know that Pete and Taylor are both on the line. And so they would be, and Leanne Jones-Cruz as well, who is also part of the Downtown BizCo, are on the line and would probably like to say something.
Sean, you mentioned right at the very end, the staff, there's going to be some staff requirements there as well as handling of the trash. As for bathrooms, I think we need more of a permanent solution that we have in our downtown area to prevent the use of private restrooms in businesses. That's something we have to have at a different time, but it's not negligible, especially when we have staff involved and trash involved. But it is a good investment for the city if this event can get off the ground. Are there any other council comments before I open it up?
Yes, Councilmember Campbell with a comment. I was very involved for about 3 or 4 years with the previous farmers market. We worked very hard, but we just couldn't seem to make it to continue. I think this is a great idea. They're starting out small. I think it can benefit the city, and I hope it mushrooms into something over a period of time that is even a little bit bigger, because I think it would really be a good thing for our city, because we're the only city that doesn't have any kind of farmers market at this time. So I would say if we can work everything out, I'm very comfortable going with it.
This is go ahead.
No, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, thanks. This is Councilmember Barbara Martinez, and I'm excited that we may have something like this. I know that for a lot of folks, they want to know who's the contact, who can we talk to be a vendor, to get it started, to be of help. So if we could get that information before the conversation ends, it would be very much appreciated. Thanks.
Vice Mayor Uribe here. So I just want to applaud the downtown the BISCO group for taking this, tackling this. Councilmember Barbara Martin understands this. You've been dealing with this for years, so you know what kind of tasks, heavy lifting this is going to be. And I said this at the last meeting. Kudos to Taylor for doing all the groundwork in attracting. I don't even know how many. I lost count. You were getting so many vendors. I kind of lost count at some point. I think it's pretty smart how you've structured it. I'm going to use Sean's words to jumpstart, right, to get this going with the no fees. I think that was super smart how you did that. Just another way to attract vendors, and you've been attracting your goal is to get those certified vendors, and that's part of the city's goal too, is to promote healthy. It's in our strategic plan. I'm absolutely in favor of this, and I don't know if we got clarity on if there's going to be hot food. If anybody, if Taylor or Pete could address that comment, that would clarify some other questions I had.
Okay, any other council members? Okay, Annabelle, are there any public comments? Or are there any comments from any other presenters?
Mayor, there were no written comments received for this item, and there are 2 hands up right now. So let me get the first person.
Okay.
Pete, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Great. Go ahead and introduce yourself and go ahead and make your comments, please.
Great. Yes. Good evening, council members. My name is Pete DeMattis. I'm with the Riverbank Downtown Business Coalition, and we are definitely excited to present this opportunity to bring back the farmers market, and we look forward to working with Mr. Campbell and Deborah Martinez to kind of take their advice and help this thing, being that they were involved in the first one. And Taylor is really running point on this thing. She's this is a passion project for her, and we're happy that we're just able to work together as the business community and try to help bring some people downtown. And it's been a trying year for everybody, and we're just looking forward to getting some action back down there. And we think this is a really good way to do that. And we will work together with the city to resolve some of the concerns about trash. And we've got a lot of business owners who are going to volunteer, and we want to see this thing successful. So just appreciate any kind of concerns or any questions you guys have on how we're going to manage this thing and operate it so it's the least impactful to the city. And if we can grow this thing to what we want and make it bigger, then obviously we can afford to charge the vendors and kind of bring some some revenue into the city as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Taylor, because she's really the main point of contact. But I just wanted to thank the city for considering this and working with us to get this thing off the ground. So appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm going to now, let's see, if he wants to turn it over to Taylor, I'll let Taylor speak now. Hello, Taylor, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, please introduce yourself and go ahead and comment.
Yep. Thank you, Pete. Good evening, council members. My name is Taylor Buich, and I am the owner of the long-awaited coffee shop downtown. It's been a while. That's probably why I'm the one with enough free time on my hands to take on a project like this. But I originally initiated the farmers market conversation just through social media and word of mouth downtown, and it generated a lot of interest. And it's something that I definitely didn't want to take on by myself. And being a future business owner downtown in the process of it. I'm a part of the Downtown Biz Co. and the group really embraced, and Pete and I are teaming up big time on it. And Sean's been really active. And thank you, Sean, for the recap. You touched on pretty much everything. And you're totally right that this year we just want it to be a jump start to it. And that's why we're asking to waive the fees. And we're just trying to be as easy as possible for the vendors to work with. For whatever reason, Riverbank just kind of gets, people get hesitant to really jump in and be involved with us and surrounding cities. And a lot of people don't even know we have a downtown area that we do. And we just think this is a great opportunity to bring foot traffic downtown, bring awareness to downtown, awareness to future businesses to move downtown. It is such a cool area over there. And I've done some preliminary work on it, and we've gotten actually 40 vendors that have signed up so far. And I made a mock application. They've filled it out and sent back really quickly. And the feedback from the community was, sure, farmers market sounds great, but it ends up being an arts and crafts fair, and we don't want to go see arts and crafts every single week. And so I've really pushed and reached out to farmer contacts, producers, suppliers, and we've had about 12 really solid produce vendors that have gotten the applications back, and they are California Farmers Market certified. So if we are able to get approved this year, I don't know if we could by the state. They're ready to go. They already participate in other certified markets, and they know the ins and outs. And there's a lot of craft vendors that are interested, but I was a little less concerned with making sure they were completely certified in the food department. So, in to answer your question, Luis, I believe the as far as hot food goes, we did have a gal that makes tacos that wanted to go, and a pizza truck, which would be another question for all of you if a food type truck is allowed to be there. So that's what I have to say on it. Everyone covered just about everything. We're excited to have it downtown if you guys would allow it. And like Sean said, coming out of COVID, we think this would be a fun thing to bring the community together.
Thank you. And Bella, are there any other comments?
Yes, we have one more. We have Leanne Jones-Cruz who would like to speak. Leanne, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead, please. Yes.
Hi, council members and mayor. Good evening. It's Leanne Jones-Cruz. I just wanted to say that this downtown business group is an amazing group. I think the city's fortunate to have such a awesome group that gets together and is really into promoting their businesses downtown and to improve that area. It's been a long time coming, and it's really fun and exciting to see them prosper and the downtown change. And I love this. I would like to encourage the council members to entertain this idea to help these folks out to get this going. We've been talking about farmers market for a long time down there, and we've had attempted it, and we had some good runs down there, but I'm excited about the future and looking forward to opportunities to go down and participate with this. So thank you for entertaining this resolution tonight. Thank you.
Any other further comments?
Mayor, there is no one else wishing to speak.
All right, thank you. I'll bring it back to the council for either further discussion or motion.
This is Councilmember Barbara Martinez. I would like to make a motion that we approve item 11.1.
Vice Mayor Uribe here. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve item 11.1 and a second by Councilmember Barbara Martinez and a second by Vice Mayor Uribe. Roll call, please.
Council members Barbara Martinez.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Uribe.
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. And I still have Taylor that I believe would like to comment again. Let me see.
No, nothing to comment. Sorry, I might have hit something.
Oh, okay.
Over here.
Thank you. That ends all the comments.
All right. Thank you. Now we move on to comments. 12.1, staff comments. Sean?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if the council has heard, but we're going to be having a farmers market on May 18th next month, and so we'd invite you all to come down. No, we're really excited. Thank you to the council for that approval. I'm personally excited because it starts right after I get off work, so I could just walk down and pick up whatever I need for the week. So the only major comment that I have to share, two things to share tonight. One is that we have a vaccination clinic that was planned initially for May 5th, which would be next Wednesday at our community center. I'm not confirmed on that date yet because more recently the county and I've been discussing instead of doing a daytime full day kind of clinic, it may be more useful for our community to do an evening clinic that starts around 3:30 or 4 and goes till 8:39. Because one of the things that one of the assistant health staff at the county mentioned at the board meeting, I think a week ago, was that it's not necessarily that people that don't want to get vaccinated, though some don't. It's also a matter of convenience. You know, some people simply work all day long, and it's tough to take off work hours for some folks. So we think there's a lot of value there. We did over 800 vaccinations at the Golden Valley Clinic, which I was told by the county is fantastic for a one-day clinic, and they're very excited about doing another. So I suspect it will be next week. Sue and her staff were touring the facility with the county today, and so I'll have an exact date for council this week, and then we'll be putting it out to the community and trying to get as many people down as possible. And the second item is there will likely be a request that council hold a special meeting in the month of May. We are now mostly completed with the Ametis master developer project and agreement, and so because of the scope and scale of that project, it may be appropriate to hold that approval at a special meeting. I'm going to work through some of those details with the city clerk. But those are my two substantive updates this evening, and happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Sean, I have a couple. First off, we want to thank Golden Valley for their vaccination, but they have a second round that has to come on out. Is that still going to go out on the 4th of May?
Yes, it'll be, I can't recall the exact, yeah, that would be 2 weeks. So it'll be, I'll verify that date, but yes, it'll be the same location. All those 800 folks that were vaccinated with their first shot will come right back there for their second.
And I was told that they were also going to have additional shots available for anyone coming on by who did not receive their first dose.
Correct.
So if we can get that information out, we have no other council meetings between now and then, I believe.
Yep.
So we need to get that information out. All right. No other staff reports, John?
None this evening.
All right. Councilmember Hernandez?
Hi, everyone. Just a quick recap on Love Riverbank. It was successful for as simple and easy as I was intending it to be this year. We had almost 400 individual letters written to police, fire, postal, and teachers. And Gabby over at the city, I appreciate you so much for helping me go through each school on Friday. We went and dropped off letters and gifts to each of the teachers. And everyone that joined on Saturday too, it was great and heartwarming to visit each of the offices and give them their appreciation gifts. I hope that, now having some of the background on Love Riverbank, along with what one church gave me, we can build something bigger next year and start a lot sooner for next spring. So keep an eye out for that so we can, work together as a team. And also I want to touch on Love Small Business, because that was with Vice Mayor working on getting Rad Card more well known with residents, with businesses, and it definitely started gaining traction. So I hope that we can still keep some of that movement going. And I think that's it. That was it.
Mayor, you're muted.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Campbell, sorry. I'm very seldom am I muted.
I'm just going to go back several years. I've been on the council since 2013, and there were a lot of things going on when I got on the council and Darlene got on the council. And I just want to say that it has been a pleasure working with the mayor, Darlene, and other council members. And the work that we have fought very hard to do since that time is really beginning to blossom and making this city a much stronger economic city, and also a much more well-renowned city in Stanislaus County. And I feel very proud to be a part of that and working with these people. And I see nothing but better things for us in the future. And I hope everybody has a good weekend.
Thank you. Councilmember Barbara Martinez.
Just a recap of the past couple weeks. I have been busy with a lot of different webinars and Zoom calls. For instance, I was part of the Stanislaus Community System of Care and the Stanislaus Homeless Alliance, and we reviewed the grant funding criteria to try to look at funding. And the funding so far, as it is only for existing buildings that need rehab or an expansion. And since we don't have any buildings that would meet that type of criteria, I asked Sean to see if we could ask for an exemption. And we might just have to wait for further funding opportunities if they don't grant that for us. I also attended the webinar on the American Rescue Plan that was presented by the White House staff, and also a webinar of recycling of solid waste and electronic waste. And I attended the Public Safety Policy Committee, and we looked at, of course, there's a lot of legislation on peace officers, changing the minimum qualifications, certification, education, and recruitment, and all sorts of law enforcement topics. So I look forward to continuing our conversation about legislation and moving that forward. And also the American Red Cross is hosting a disaster preparedness and sound the alarm event. And it's about planning in case of a home fire. And that's going to be an event on Zoom Thursday, April 29th from 6 to 7 p.m. And I truly look forward to being a part of the farmers market. And I thank those who are, trying to put this together. So I truly appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I think Councilmember Hernandez, I think you're right. I think we need to continue pushing out that information about the RAD card. Thank you for taking the lead on that. Thank you for involving me in that. And I'm more than willing to continue to help you push that out. So let's touch base this week and continue to push that. Legislative Action Day is going to be on the 12th and May 13th. So I think it's absolutely important that me as an elected leader, that I study up on important bills and advocate for Riverbank. So that way we're heard, we're being represented. Luckily for me that the league is going to be holding a briefing on May 4th. So I do look forward to attending all three of these meetings. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, welcome to Tony Lemmons. You'll be a fine addition to the staff, and we look forward to many years of your service to the city of Riverbank. A notice of preparation for Riverwalk should have been completed sometime this week and will be filed. We expect that to be one of the first major changes that we'll have to do to our general plan. And as we move forward, we're going to have to take a look at our general plan and do a rewrite or produce a new one. The reason for that is the North County corridor is being finalized in this area, and construction should start next year. With that, by completion of 2025, we should have our boundaries solidified between the city of Modesto and the city of Riverbank, and that we should start capitalizing and making moves the sooner the better. I believe that the general plan will reflect a lot of the major changes that we're doing to our what we're having within our city, and also boundary shifts. And a new general plan would also include the new in addition to the environmental justice portion, which I am now on, thank God. Again, I want to thank Golden Valley for their participation of providing the shots to mainly to the residents of Riverbank, and look forward to the second shot as we move forward. And as a city council, I believe we should be looking at dates not only for a special meeting, but also for a strategic planning to see where we want to go in a lot of our considerations for the future. With that, I'm sure, Sean, that you're going to say thank you, Mayor, but we're going to go into closed session. And the public will have a limited 3 minutes to comment on closed session items as set forth on the agenda prior to the City Council LRA Board adjourning to closed session. Closed session items consist of liability 13.1, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.95, claimant Antonio Garcia, agency claim against City of Riverbank. Item 13.2, conference with legal counsel existing litigation, pursuant to Government Code 54956.9 Alpha, name of case Martin Family Holdings LLC versus State of California Department of Transportation, Tokes Omishaken, Director of Caltrans, Dan McElhaney, Director of Caltrans District 10, and DOES 1-10 inclusive. Real parties interested: County of Stanislaus, City of Oakdale, City of Riverbank, City of Modesto, and DOEs 1120 inclusive. Stanislaus County Supervisor of Correction, Superior Court Case Number CB 20-003776. Item 13.3, conference with real property negotiators, Government Code Section 54956.8, property 3300 Stanislaus Street, APM 132-012-24, agency negotiator Sean Scully, City Manager, property negotiator Stanislaus Housing Authority, under negotiation, price, term of payment, or both. Annabelle, are there any public comments?
Mayor, there is no one wishing to speak, and we did not receive any written comments on this item.
Thank you very much. The public portion of this meeting has concluded. The City Council and the LRA Board will be going into closed session. The report of closed session items will be reflected in the minutes of this meeting. Anyone interested in receiving what was reported on the items may contact the City Clerk by calling 209-863-7198 or email cityclerk@riverbank.org. The next regular council meeting will be on Tuesday, May 11th at 6 p.m. Thank you for joining us tonight. We now adjourn to closed session.